Since the dawn of time, man has been curious. And for almost as long, the Vibes Broadcast Network has sought the truth. Investigate, discuss, explore. Okay, maybe in other episodes, but this one is just listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I have here Miss Judith Joy, and she is an author, a speaker. She's a healer. She is a teacher. I mean, she's got a laundry list of things she does, and I'm very excited to talk to her because we do have something in common. I read her story. She was actually going through headaches. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
And myself, I was gone through depression and anxiety, PTSD. I mean, all these different ailments, and they never seemed to help. When I would take all these drugs that the doctors were just shoving at me. And I was like, there's got to be another answer. And I've only been married for 6 years, and my new wife, she's been into alternative ways of healing and stuff, and so that's how I kind of got into it. I know there's still more things that both of us could learn, and so I've left myself an open book for everyone every time I do a show, so you know what I'm going through. If there's somebody out there that might be going through the same thing, maybe we can talk about something today that can help you. I do have to stress, I am not a doctor. You should feel comfortable enough to talk to your doctor, but just know that there are other ways of handling ailments other than stuffing drugs down your throat every day. I mean, I had to take medicine for my liver because I was taking so many medications, and it's losing weight, meditation, all these things have helped me in so many ways. And so I can't say that it will definitely work for you. I think it will, but I'm not a doctor once again. So just don't take me at my word, but do keep an open mind. So Judith, I don't want to monopolize the whole conversation. So I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about yourself, and we will definitely get into a great conversation.
Okay. To begin with, I love learning.
Myself.
And I will dive into anything that sounds interesting and anything that lights me up. And in the process of trying to find a solution for headaches, I found the mind-body connection.
Mm.
And I'm like, whoa, this is fascinating.
Right.
So I start looking at that. And when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, well, look at this book and look at this video, and here's a course to take, and there's a course to take, and all of this other stuff. And I just keep following my interest. And when I get all the way done with it, I've decided, okay, now what can I do with it? I can continue to live my life and sit on the beach and not do anything.
Right.
But I chose not to, because I love to help people. And so I want to share what I've learned.
Well, that's something else we have in common, because I love helping people too. I mean, some people said I should have been a psychiatrist as much as I love talking to people and trying to help them find solutions to problems. But being someone that I need some guidance myself, I don't know if that was my path or not, but definitely looking into other things and finding that interest. I mean, I've been in the paranormal for, gosh, I don't know, 7, 8 years now. And that has opened up a new world for me, and learning all these things like about chakras and, crystals and all, and I know a lot of people was like, oh, that's a bunch of hippy dippy stuff. And hey, that's fine. You believe what you want. I just know I've had things happen in my life that I never thought would work, but they have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Let's get into, okay, you were having the headaches.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're going to the doctor, and I guess at least.
I didn't even know that I had headaches.
Okay.
Because I had them so long and it was just normal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got married to my first husband, he said, do you realize that you have a headache every day? And I didn't realize it.
Oh, gosh.
And so my dad's wedding present to us was that I came with a 1-year warranty.
All righty then.
So we're like, all right, let's check this out. We went up to Mayo Clinic and they said, you have headaches, take Excedrin.
Of course.
Granted, we're talking like 1983.
Okay.
So it's been a while. And then I went to Diamond Headache Clinic and they said, here's some drugs. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it, but it didn't help the headaches. Then I went to a Catholic hospital in Indiana and they said, put your husband before yourself.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I've since gotten rid of that husband. I've gone to the alternative side. Acupuncture, chiropractic, biofeedback, energy healing, anything that could be a little bit woo-woo was like, yes.
I know
And
what you mean.
it's almost like it was so woo-woo 30 years ago, and now it's all closer to mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, while that's good because more people are getting helped, it was fun being different. So
Right. It's like when I first started getting tattoos and most of the people I was around didn't have them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Now everybody has a tattoo.
right. It wasn't a matter of being cool for me. I don't want to do what everybody else does.
Right.
So even when I coach people, I do not do the type of coaching where I hold you accountable. Well, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do this. So, let's back it up. Let's look at the energy. Let's look at the vibrations. Let's look at what you're thinking. And what are you telling yourself? And how do we switch all of that to allow for something better? Last week, I was coaching someone and her problem was that her feet were swollen. Got her talking, did a couple different exercises. And then she said, well, I tend to overthink things. And I'm like, thank you for the clue. Because when you overthink, you dig your heels in. And when you dig your heels in, they swell.
Okay. I never thought about it that way.
And I'm really good at putting all these like bizarre things together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a little bit of energy work and she had to look down to see if her feet were there because they weren't hurting.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, so excited. And I get excited over all the little wins. It's not just the big stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Teaching a class and someone says, hey, I used your process to get free Broadway tickets or to get a free vacation or to buy my dream house or to get more views on my video. I'm like, yes, this is so exciting.
Okay, I'm extremely intrigued now.
Okay. So while I can do the energy healing, and it's the same process, I've rolled it into what I call dream creation, or it's possible to create.
Okay.
So it's possible to create whatever it is you want to create. It's possible to create a healthy body. It's possible to create a school system that works in a different way that, really teaches the kids. It's possible to create, excuse me, to create your dream house. It's possible to create your dream wife or husband, your dream job, whatever it is. It's possible. And today, so many people are sort of clamped down, just trying to survive, that they can't even get to the point where they think that something is possible. So for them, it may be, it's possible to have 15 minutes of quiet time a day. It's possible to feel better than you do now. And what I'm trying to get people to do is to expand just a little bit, play with their imagination, and create. When you can play with your imagination, then you can imagine it being different than what it is now. For example, if I want to get rid of my headaches and I say, I'm going to imagine me without headaches. It doesn't really work because you can't imagine not seeing something. Imagine not seeing the pink elephant in the room. All you see is the pink elephant.
Right.
So change your focus. And, I imagine myself feeling fantastic. Well, when you feel fantastic, how does your body know? Well, you might stand up, your shoulders are back, your chin is up, you might have a smile on your face. And you might be cheering your kids on, yeah, we can do it, we can do it. And you might be playing with shaving cream with your kids. I used to try to be as creative as possible with homework. So one time with spelling, the kids had shaving cream. We were in the bathroom and they could use shaving cream on the mirror to spell their words. And it was so much fun and it got all over the place. But being a photographer, I got some really good pictures too.
Oh yeah. Those days playing with my kids like that, those were the best.
Yeah.
But like you say, you tell them not to do something, then that's all they're focused on is doing that one thing you told them not to do.
Right.
So yeah.
But it works with yourself too.
Right.
So if you're imagining 15 minutes of quiet time,
Mm-hmm.
I just have to get away from my kids for 15 minutes. It's a totally different message than I get to have 15 minutes to myself.
Right. Now, this sounds very close to like the law of attraction and The Secret. So
it is, but it's sort of on steroids because the law of attraction doesn't talk about vibrations and frequency. Right. If you listen to David Hawkins from Power versus Force, he sets out that vibrations are from 0 to 1,000. The lower vibrations are the ones that are more chaotic, the more heavy, I guess, and grief, shame, blame, apathy, all of these feelings that are like, ugh. And imagine sitting on your couch and I don't have any energy to get anything done. I can't get off the couch. Making dinner is a big deal. Those are the lower vibrations. And it takes a lot of effort to get anything done. Okay. You're not going to be real creative when you're down there. You're not going to create a life that works for you. Move up a little bit and you've got anger. While anger still doesn't feel good, it does allow you to have more energy available to get stuff done. When you are angry, I am angry and I'm going to go out march and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You've got more energy available. Move up just a little bit more and you've got pride. And this is where the military is. Mm. And they're getting more done than when they're angry. Now, here's the deal. If you can move up just a little bit more, and you take responsibility for everything in your life, everything, then you start to create and you start to have more coherent frequencies that work together, so it takes less effort. This is where you have kindness, compassion, gratitude, love, joy, peace, calm, all of these energies that just feel good. So when you're in the low vibe, it takes a lot of effort. When you're in the higher vibes, it can take almost no effort at all. You can literally be in a meeting, say, I'm done, put it in your hand, spin it out, and then just sit back and you've put it into the atmosphere that you want to be done. And then the meeting ends. this actually happened to me. And it took about 30 seconds for the guy to say, I think I'm done talking.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. Now this worked also. Last week, my husband put his hand on my driving leg as I'm driving, and it irritates me. And instead of just picking it up or telling him, take it off or whatever, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm high vibe. And I live in the high vibes. So I would like your hands to be in your lap. And I spun it out there. 30 seconds later, he just, doesn't know why he's doing it. He just puts his hand in his lap. Now there was an author, Grayson. I don't remember the first name, but he used a method where one day he thought only really nice things about his wife, and he was very loving. So he's very high vibe. And he'd come home and his wife would hug him, kiss him, great relationship. Next day, only bad thoughts about her, going low vibe. He'd get home and she's upset about something and, all this other stuff. Well, he flip-flopped like this for 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, he told her what he was doing. And she said, oh, thank God, I thought I was going crazy.
He's playing with his life.
But the thing is, it originates within you.
Right.
My life originates within me. What I send out into the world is what comes back to me. So if I'm sending out calm and peace, the universe is bringing back to me things that match that calm and peace.
Right.
If I'm sending out shame, blame, stuff like that, the universe says, hey, you want things to blame or people to blame, we'll send them your way. And then they do, and then that's your experience. And if you want to change your outer experience, you have to change your inner experience, which is what you found out with meditation.
Yes. And I had to get so frustrated because I thought meditation was just sitting in my room and closing my eyes and clearing my head of all thoughts. And I said, this is not working for me. And finally, someone explained to me, you're not going to completely shut off your brain, but you can change what you're thinking about. Okay. And there's like, why don't you try when you breathe in, think of all the good things that you could bring into you. And then when you exhale, you're expelling all those bad things out of you. And it continuously would do that. And then it's like, man, things turned around for me.
Yeah.
And it just like, when I would go into a situation that I knew was going to cause me anxiety, I would go tell myself, everything's going to be fine when you get there. You're just going to be around other people or other things are going on. Enjoy it. Just enjoy it. And not sit there and dwell on the anxiety that would come, just on being happy and being calm. And I even was able to go to New York a couple of years ago, get on a subway, not taking one single pill, just,
wow.
And, I'd never even been to New York before. I'd heard the horror stories about being on the subway, but, I was like, you know what, I'm here to have a good time. And that's what I'm focused on, having a good time.
It's wonderful.
And it worked. And as I told you before, I mean, I don't know how many different medications they had me on for all these different things that were in my mind, but okay, I understand there's a chemical imbalance there, but it's also in my mind. So if I'm putting positive thoughts into my head, then I'm not dwelling on the depression and anxiety and all those things.
What people don't realize is that it's not just the thought, it's your feeling about the thought.
Well, when you're happy, your body releases chemicals into your brain. Just as when you're sad, it's like almost like a depletion of those kinds of chemicals. So if you're focusing on the positives and the happiness and that joy, it's almost like when you open a Christmas present, how you feel exhilarated. I got that toy I wanted so bad for Christmas. And if you can convince yourself every day that's what you're getting, then it man, it just changes things.
Yeah. Focus on the feeling.
Right.
Because if you focus on the feeling, let's say you want this podcast to do really well.
Right.
Okay, so that's your dream. What's the feeling that you hope to have when it's doing really well?
My feelings have always been that somebody out there is getting a benefit from it and their lives are changing. That's I guess, my motivating factor, the thing that I want to feel like I'm helping someone.
Okay, so let's look a little bit deeper into that.
Okay.
What is your body doing? What are the body sensations that you actually have when you know you're helping somebody?
Oh, I get that sense of pride and satisfaction when.
Okay, what's the actual body sensation? How does your body know that it's that?
I'll tell you, sometimes I get butterflies in my stomach and I love that feeling.
Okay, great. That's what I'm looking for. What else do you have?
Overwhelming joy. It's a beaming. It's hard to describe. I can tell you, and I'm not expecting anybody to do this, but every once in a while somebody will send me a message and say, thank you, I needed that message. I was feeling down. And that, like I say, that it's like it starts from my spine and moves all the way up to my head, like a tingling. I guess that's the only way to describe it.
Okay, so by focusing on the body sensation, the feeling, the actual feeling, not just the word for the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're going for, because that's what you're truly hoping to get, is that feeling. By having the podcast, by helping people, by getting the message out there.
Okay.
What you personally are going for is that whole body tingle. So now, if you focus on the whole body tingle, your podcast is one way that it can show up. It can show up in your relationship. It can show up in your car. It can show up with somebody coming up to you on the street and talking to you. It can show up in 100 different ways. It could show up in a story that you read.
Yeah.
But because you've identified this is the feeling I'm going for, then you're going, oh, I've got success over there, and I've got success over there, and I've got success over there, and I've got success over there. Because success is the whole body tingle.
That makes a lot of sense, because there's times when I am thinking of that message and getting that message out, and all of a sudden something will come up, like on my YouTube or something out of the blue, that happens to deal exactly with what I was thinking about, or like you said, a story of some sort. I don't watch as much television as I used to. I do watch quite a bit of YouTube, but we have a few streaming services, and we'll watch mostly cooking shows. But
and
even
now you're a gourmet chef.
I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
Yeah, but cooking for you probably feels, when you get a really good recipe and it worked, it feels like that whole body tingle, right?
Yes, it does. Nothing makes me happier than to see other people enjoying my food that I can't eat. But anyway.
But you're going for the whole body tingle.
Yes.
Now, anything that doesn't match that, you let go of.
Okay.
And then when you are focused on the whole body tingle, you start imagining the whole body tingle. And when you're meditating, you imagine the whole body tingle, and you start to feel the whole body tingle. And then the thoughts and the stories that match that come in. And what doesn't match that just doesn't come up. And you can let it go. Does that make sense?
It does. Now, I'm going to ask you this, I think I already know the answer to it, but there'll be times I will reminisce about some good times I've had with somebody I haven't spoken to in a long time. And I'm not so much focusing on, I just haven't seen them, I hadn't talked to them. It's just, I reminisce. And it seems like within the day, or at least a couple of days, I'll end up talking to that person.
Okay, what happens is that you are working in the high vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And just like when I said, I'm done, and I spun it out into the universe, you were thinking about this person, spun it out, and you basically sent them a cosmic email. And now they're picking up the phone and calling you.
You know, I've heard that kind of spoken in just about that same exact way before. And I believe it because there's no other way to explain it. That, I mean, here's somebody, it might have been 5 years since this person's even crossed my mind, you know, and yeah, I was just thinking about old so-and-so, you know, we used to do this and we used to do that. We used to have the best times together, and just like that.
Right.
You're there, I'm talking to them.
Because the best times were the high vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And the best times gave you that full body tingle. And the best times and the best times and the full body tingle and the full body tingle and the full body tingle. And then you send out the name of Joe Schmo. And then Joe calls you. Now, if you were very depressed and then you were going, oh, I remember I used to have fun. Yeah, it was with Joe. It would not go out the same way because the energy would get stuck. It would get lost in the airwaves.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because, I mean, how many times do we focus on, oh my God, my rent's coming due and I can't pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. Sure enough, you can't.
Right.
But if you go, you know what? I know the rent's coming due, but I'll always get it paid. Something will come along. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, it seems like, lo and behold, an opportunity comes up, you know, either to go make some money or some money drops in your lap.
Right.
Wow.
It's all based on what you tell yourself, and what you tell yourself is what you're imagining. All the what ifs haven't happened. We are living in this moment right now. The past are moments that are already gone. The future are moments that are yet to come. Mm-hmm. In this moment, how do you choose to feel? In this moment, I choose to be high vibe. In this moment, I choose to have that whole body tingle. And now it's another moment. So in this moment, I choose to have the whole body tingle. And in this moment, I choose to have the whole body tingle. And you start focusing on that. And then you're going to pick up a magazine and you're going to look at it and go, yeah, that doesn't match the feeling that I want. And you put it down. You pick up another magazine. Yeah. This is the whole body tingle. And as we're talking even about whole body tingle, I'm getting whole body tingles. Can you feel it?
Actually, I have been feeling it for a couple minutes now. I'm like, okay, she is connecting on with me, because that always happens when somebody connects with me. And I started with the butterflies in my stomach. I said, okay, yeah, this lady's got abilities or something, because I could feel that connection already. Mm-hmm. You've been doing that to me since we started, haven't you?
It's a little bit. But I feel it. I'm creating the state where whole body tingles are safe, and they're allowed, and they're accepted, and they're celebrated. And then anybody that is around me can feel it. Anybody that I'm connecting with can feel it. Yeah. So if you're having trouble with your wife, it does not help to complain about it.
True.
If you were to do this and think about the full body tingle, and then think about your wife, and then go back to the full body tingle, and then your wife, and you go back and forth, pretty soon that whole body tingle is going to be all around you and her, and it's going to feel great. And whatever was your problem before somehow resolves, or the solution pops up, right, or an idea pops up that, you know what, I'd really like to go walking. And then you ask your wife, hey, let's go for a walk. And while you're walking, she says, you know, something's been bothering me. And then she talks about that. but your intuitive hit was to take the walk. You followed your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a lot of what I teach people to do. And you've done that random thing. And then it allowed her to open up.
Now you're teaching, I guess it's mainly virtual now, I guess, since the whole pandemic and everything started. But when there's not a pandemic going on, do you have like a physical place people come to, or is this like, I don't know, like the virtual sessions?
It can be anywhere. I was teaching at a school, west side of Chicago, and I was working with the teachers and some of the parents. And we would just have a room, conference room, and I would teach them. I teach around my kitchen table. I'll go to somebody's home and teach. I like the small groups because it gives me some interaction with them and I can feel their energy. And if somebody's lost, I can go, yeah, something over here isn't working.
Yeah.
And I can feel it. Where if I've got a room with 1,000 people, I'm just talking at them. It's less interaction. I love the interaction.
Myself, I've said this, I don't know, a million times. Even if I'm going to, say, Walmart or something, they have those self-service lines, and there may be nobody at those machines, but there's 5 people in line at a register. Even if I have to wait, 15, 20 minutes, however long it is to get up, I like to be able to interact with people. I like to tell them my corny jokes and make people smile. And my mission has always been, I'm going to at least make one person smile every day. And
nice.
It's so, I'll go up and they'll say, well, sir, do you want your milk in a bag? And I go, no, keep it in the carton. It's a lot less messy that way. Some of them will look at me like I'm crazy and some will get a giggle out of it. So, usually my wife is like, oh, you and your dad jokes. I'm like, well.
Yeah. Kids call those dad jokes also. Hey, on my back.
That may seem like not much to some people, but to people like me, that is a big deal to make somebody else smile. It's
Okay,
like a comedian,
Yeah, but look at it from their perspective. They're basically seen as invisible people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing their job.
Right.
If you take the time to acknowledge them, you have shown them that they matter.
Exactly.
And when you get right down to it, that's all people want, to know that they matter.
That's right. Well, you could make the difference in somebody going home and ending themselves just by interacting with them.
Yeah.
Letting them know, hey, I want to make you smile. I want to make you giggle, I get emotional thinking about it. I've actually had an incident similar to that happen to me before, and that's why I feel it's so important. We should put aside any other differences that we have in this world and focus on, interacting with each other, making each other smile again. My grandson, the youngest one, he's going to be 2 in January, and he almost doesn't even know what it's like to go out in public without seeing a mask on somebody's face.
Right.
And there's something special about seeing that smile come across someone's face, just saying hi to him. And, he brings so much joy when you go to the store. People want to stop and talk to him. And, he's wonderful. He loves saying hi, hi, hi. And people love that. And it doesn't matter what your background is, where you went to church, or even the color of your skin. That interaction of, this child said hi to me, and that's so adorable, Well,
he naturally gets the idea that this person matters.
That's right. It does matter. But, we try to make him giggle all the time, and I think that's a big influence on how he treats other people.
Yeah.
So, and then we try to keep all the conflicts out of the room if there are any, so he doesn't have to see that. And he sees my wife and I hug and kiss and all that stuff, and he giggles because I kiss my wife like he kisses us, go, nah. And he just thinks that's the funniest thing. He loves seeing Papa and me all doing that. And it's very important. Teach them early. Keep that conflict away from them. I mean, there's enough going on in this world.
Let me tell you about conflict. there's the conflict where you're fighting, and it's like physical fighting. There's a conflict where you have verbal fighting.
Right.
And there's a conflict that is under the surface that you may not even feel. And the kids are still sensitive to that.
Right. Right.
When I was married to my first husband, father of my 4 kids,
Mm-hmm.
my third daughter, or my third child, came to us when she was 3 years old. Now, I did not know that she was one of these super sensitives. And she asked if we were getting divorced. And we're like, no, we're fine. And she felt like we were lying to her. Well, over the course of the next 8 years, 9 years, every time she would ask us, we'd say, no, we're fine. We're married. We're fine, whatever. But she felt like we were lying to her all the time because she could feel the truth.
You really can.
So her depression got really bad. Her anxiety got really bad. Super angry. Imagine being told you're wrong all the time when something that you just physically know is true. So she ended up at a treatment program. And when she left, my then husband and I looked at each other and we're like, this isn't exactly what we wanted.
Right.
And I had talked with, I was working with a doctor. He said, there's this lady out in California and she talks to angels. Are you open? I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we flew out to California. I'm laying on her table. Dr. Janer, who's my doctor, was at my head. And Anamika, the angel lady, was on my right. Nobody's touching me. She says, to get rid of your headaches, you need to get rid of your husband. And with that, my right hip literally goes clunk.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, there is some truth here. I've been married 20 years. I'm not giving it up without a fight. And so I tried to spice it up a little bit. I tried to have more communication. I tried more. Didn't work. About 6 months later, we were like, you know what, this isn't working. And we hugged and we cried and we separated. But my daughter knew that at 3 years old. So even if you're not fighting, they feel it. Just like if someone has an argument and you walk into the room, the vibration of the argument is there and you can feel the argument even though everybody is quiet.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that saying goes, you can cut the tension in the air with a knife.
Right.
And there's some truth to that for sure.
Right.
Okay.
So the only way to change it is to change your focus, change the feelings that you want to have.
Right.
And then focus on having those feelings, which is what you were doing with your meditation.
Right. Well, I can tell you the things that I've seen over the last, oh gosh, it's been 20 something years now, are pretty close to 20 years, and from the end of my first marriage and to this point. And it's amazing how things have changed between then and now. And my way of thinking. Now, by no means am I perfect. I still have my days where I pitch fit. And
We all do. Nobody stays high vibe forever.
That's right. That's right. That's why I shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car, because I get so mad sometimes. But and I do go home and I'm like, why did you act that way? There was no sense in that. And you don't know what's going on in the other vehicle. The person could have been having a bad day, lost a loved one, you never know. Right. But that's why we need to think outside the box and outside of our own little world. And if people want to reach out to you, you have a website, correct?
Yes, yeswithjoy.com. You can also go to judithjoy.com. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I've got 2 books, Surviving Your Teenager and Being Happy Anyway, which is not about the teenager changing, by the way. It's about what you can do to survive them. while they do their stuff.
Hang around till they move out.
And dear future lover, bring your book boyfriend to life. It's how I attracted my second husband. And I set out there that, like I just spun it out into the world. My next husband's going to be a chiropractor.
Wow.
And when I met my husband, probably 8 years later, he's a chiropractor. And I went, wait a minute, I remember saying, and he said, I'm never getting married again. And I said, well, I am. And now we're married 7 years.
Well, I put out there
about how to journal to your future.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's one way to have it. And I teach lots and lots of ways. I've got workshops that I do. If you have a workshop, or if you have a group of people that you want me to do a workshop with, great, I'll do it. I set some up over Zoom. I do speaking. I do private coaching. I do some couples coaching. And I'm just trying to get it out there. I've got blogs. If you're interested in the blogs, sign up on the website. And then you get one blog a week. I'm not going to inundate you with 1,000 things. One blog.
Understood.
There's a lot of free content out there. We've got my blogs. We've got videos that I've done. I try to keep the videos 3 minutes or under. People are busy. They just want the information.
Right.
And some people call it their moment of joy.
Well, that's a good catch.
Yeah.
And you do have a YouTube channel, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm starting it. So there's not a lot on it, but we're getting there.
Okay. And what's it called?
I don't know.
That's okay. We're going to put the link up in the description. So anything that people might have missed trying to listen, they will be able to go to, click on, and get to you somehow.
Yeah, it's probably Judith Joy.
That should be easy to remember.
It might even be Yes with Judith Joy.
Well, Judith, this has been a joy, I must say. And I would like to extend another invitation to you that whenever you want to get in contact with me, we'd love to have you back on the show again.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a really good time.
This was very informative, and it's helped me because, like I said, I'm not perfect by any means, and I know there's some other things I can learn, and I'm going to keep up with you.
Perfect. I love it, love it, love it. Whole body tingle.
I like that. I like that. Well, anyway, thank you. I want to thank everybody that's either joined us on YouTube or Rumble, Odyssey, one of the many podcasting platforms. We thank you. If this is your first time, I hope you enjoyed it and you'll come back. And if you're a regular to the show, thank you as well, because without you, we just couldn't do what we do. So until the next one, take care. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network